The day started with an unveiling. Royal Anglian Regiment, the locomotive, newly named to celebrate the soldiers' homecoming. On that train to Norwich, Simon Mercer. He fought through one of 1st Battalion's toughest ever tours.
Some people said it was going to be the hardest fighting since career, others since the Second World War. I think, in all honesty, it's quite to a class of its own.
Matt Woolard was lucky to survive. He lost a leg when he stepped on a landmine. He left rehab early to get here today.
Just wanted to be back with the blokes and that, and was looking forward to it, and being in hospital all the time, it's just not what you want at all.
Alex Hawkins won't be on parade today. The 22-year-old was killed by a roadside bomb. His family want to honour his memory.
Soldiering was his life. He lived for it. He did it, and unfortunately he died for it. I just wish he was here today.
As 300 soldiers form up at Norwich City Hall, it's a world away from the heat of battle in Afghanistan. In firefights almost every day, they fired 1 million rounds, killed more than 1,000 Taliban fighters, but they lost 9 men.
Shoulder! Arms!
The Royal Anglian Regiment enjoys a high reputation throughout the army, and your performance in Afghanistan has enhanced that reputation.
The enemy that the battalion encountered in Afghanistan was, as you say, determined, at times fanatical, the heat relentless and the environment unforgiving. The battalion has come through with flying colours. 9 members of the battalion were lost, wonderful young men, who will leave enduring gaps in the lives of those that they leave behind.
More than 5,000 people packed the streets today.
It's a bit of a forgotten war, you know. They only get the mention, you know, when people are killed.
It's more political, and I don't think half the time they don't even give them a thought unless they're related to them or something.
Do you think there's less support for soldiers?
I think it comes from the government. Not enough funding for the troops.
After the Duke of Gloucester inspected the ranks, the regiment was given permission to march through the city. For many, Afghanistan was a forgotten front. But this regiment, more than any other in the army, with the fighting and suffering that it's endured, has brought this conflict closer to home.
Proud of it, proud of it. Very proud.
Very proud.
Yeah. Very special day.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah.
Finally, a service of remembrance at Norwich Cathedral. Tomorrow the Anglians march through their regimental hometown, Bury St Edmunds. After that, a long break, just in time for Christmas. Alex Dunlop, BBC Look East.
Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Carver is the commanding officer of 1st Battalion of the Royal Anglians. He joins us in the studio. How important was today's parade for the battalion?
I think it's really important. I think the people of Norwich did us proud today, and the guys will have been really chuffed to see the massive turnout they've got. And despite all the press about the public don't support our troops, well, I think the people of Norwich have proved those critics wrong.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, because yes, thousands turned out today, but generally, do you think there is enough public support for the troops who are in Iraq and Afghanistan?
I think there's been a real change. Certainly we noticed over the time we were in Afghanistan, it was all quiet to start with, and I think as the word got out of exactly what we're doing and the challenges the guys were facing, I think that changed as the tour went on, and certainly since we've got back, the level of support has been fantastic.
We have heard that more soldiers are leaving the army than ever before. Is this a sign of how difficult the tours are, and how worrying is it for the armed services?
I think you've got to make a distinction. I don't think it's the difficult tours, because that's what the guys join to do. They join to do these kind of tours. I think the real problem is the frequency of them, and we'll have to wait and see when our next tour comes up. There's nothing confirmed, but I think if they were constantly coming up in too short a time, then you may start to get larger number leaving. But as far as we're concerned, I can only talk for One Royal Anglian. We haven't seen a huge upturn in people leaving as a result of this tour yet.
Briefly, you've had great success with the fund that you started when you came back, haven't you?
We have. We have to keep raising the target, which is a great position to be in. We started at 50,000 and we reached that within weeks. Went to 100. This morning we're on 133. But I don't want to set another target now. I think we just go for as much as we can, because it's a great cause to look after those that have been injured, and hopefully they can resume a full military career, and also to erect a permanent memorial probably at Duxford is probably the way we're going, to remember the 9 soldiers that were sadly killed on the tour.
Colonel Carver, thank you very much.